So, toughest part for me of being a minimalist is I don't have any problem downsizing that house. I mean, my wife does. I could live in the step van, something like that, pretty easily. The problem I have is the tools and the things I might need that could save or make me money down the road if we ever decide to do minimalistic type living. So like right now, it's like all this just, I'm actually selling this cargo van. It's my locksmith vehicle I use. But it's a mess. I mean, I just got done doing a big job, and that's usually how it goes. I just hurry and pack up and leave. Usually I'll lock certain things up, like the pin kits and everything, because that's stuff that once you spill that, it's got a million of these little pins in here. If I can show this. I'll talk about this book here in a minute. The GoPro. I'm not actually using the GoPro right now. It's so complicated. The GoPro is that it. Now maybe I just have an old one, but anyway. So when you dump something like this, holy cow, it's a nightmare. I always have a brand new pin kit as a backup. I got stuff back behind the wall over there, and I've never opened it. It's just been sitting there waiting for the day where this pin kit no longer serves the purpose. I got other pin kits, you know, specifically for Master and Kwikset. There's a couple right here. Excuse me, drop the phone. There's a Schlage one. I got some for Schlage and Kwikset. Pre-cuts, tryout keys, anything I need. If I need to hurry and come up with a key for a house, and I know that these keys aren't used anywhere, I use a used key, something like this, and then I will go on ahead and it's what you call a pre-cut. These used to be used on a house. What I will do is I will use those depths and spaces, and I will code cut them directly. I mean, these are pretty much useless. And I have ways. I mean, I have a card that just picks the date, and it allows you to make a key. And here's let's see here. It's a Kwikset. There's a blank. And there are certain rules that apply, you know, where you can't have a super low cut next to a super high cut, otherwise it kind of loses the cut itself. You know, it's called a MACS, M-A-C-S, Max Adjacent Cut Specification. Anyways, I have a framing too, cuts code. You know, every locksmith has a duplicator, and it just duplicates. Put your tracer key that you want to use here, and you put the blank here, and then you use this guy right here to trace it. You know, that's for your fence. I'm not really, this is just kind of a little video. I'm not teaching anyone anything, you know, skill-wise that they're gonna have to worry about. So like this here, that'll be your blank, and then I will get the one I want to duplicate. But right here, it's hard to do this in one hand. And so that's how that works. And so that stylus right there will follow this, and at the same point it'll cut that. Then there's a brush on the end. I have an inverter right here I use. It's a 2500 watt, 7500 watt peak. Anyway, or let me see that. Okay, yeah, 2500 continuous watts, 5000 watts peak. And I'm at a point right now with this vehicle where if it gets cool, these belts don't turn as easy, and so it draws more amps. You know, you do the math. You know, I don't know how many what the amp draw is on these key machines, but right now when it's cooler, it'll barely do it. But if I start big, it does it just fine. And it could be my batteries going bad in my cargo van. That's another reason why I need to hurry and get that step van going over there. And how this piece here works is, you got your key in here, you put in a blank, and I'm just kind of talking. We're not really showing anything, tools of the trade or anything. And so that'll be your space. As you crank that dial, it goes over. You put it where you want it, and then this other dial here is your depth. Turns that. and then you do your cuts. That's how deep you want to go. So like some keys will have a code on the side of them. It'll say like 0340. You'll see it. It'll read it like right here on the side. And I have software I'll use to look it up. Some keys are direct read, you know, where they directly tell you what the depths are. Like this one here tells you what the depths are. You can read it. 524, I think is what it says. Like I'm looking through the phone. Yeah, when I look at it with my eyes, 66524. That's the depths. 665, but not as deep. And then a 2 and then a 4. We have what we call key gauges. We use sometimes if I'm trying to decode a key for a customer, or maybe I'll get the lock open, and that's what I'll do. I'll just drop it in there. I can hardly do this with one hand, but it'll do. Go down to 6, just like that. And each slot is kind of its own depth and space. It's your depth. It's a 1 depth is right there. 2 depth. You can see how it's totally it gradually has lower graduations. That's for your depth to cut. And so that's how locksmiths read keys. You know, you can tell it's right next to this milling. The lowest cut on the key is the smallest one. It's hard to do it with one hand. So that'd be a 6. A 7 would go all the way down into this piece right here. Sometimes you can see it on the back side. Maybe it's easier to see it for you. Okay. Yeah. 6, 6. And a 7 would be all the way down to this milling right here. But I'll just put a key in if I don't know what the cut is, and that line it up, just slide it down until it drops under a number, and that's what the depth is. You just got to know most keys go from the bow to the tip, so 66542, whatever it is. Yep. And then some of the higher security ones, they'll go from the end, the tip to the bow. Anyways, I'm just out here just kind of looking at my van, thinking, man, I got to get all this stuff organized. All these bins got parts and components for door work. Let's see over here. I got books, I got service manuals, courses, you know, things like refresher, more pin kits for high security. Who knows how many types of screws you need. It's got all kinds of weird odds and ends. If you ever want to like take a look, see what the inside of a locksmith vehicle looks like, you know, probably. I know a lot of guys are like super organized. They'll have like an ambulance to turn into. I keep manuals and books in here. All kinds of techniques for safe valve manipulation, tubular lock service, high security locks, just little things to come across, opening padlocks, visual guided lock picking. And I'll be honest with you, everyone thinks locksmiths, you know, they're these master lock pickers. You know, they can pick any lock. Most locksmiths hardly ever pick locks. And I know this just from my own personal. If I have a lockout on a house, I have a kit I keep, you know, which has lock picks. I have special keys cut that I use. Sometimes that'll help me open them up. I'm not going to explain the techniques, of course. But you know, it's all on YouTube. That's kind of one of those things. But it's illegal, you know, for anyone else to do it other than someone that's, you know, licensed, bonded, insured, you know, to do that type of work. I would never do it just for fun, you know, for people. Sometimes I'll buy locks and stuff down at the Restore, Habitat for Humanity place. And I'll go on ahead and make keys for them. And, you know, you can do it if it's a lock you own. You can do whatever you want with it. Learn to pick it, whatever, but it's just one of those things that there are some bad elements out there. I used to cover this stuff up too because I don't like people looking in. And these cards on that key machine, they just slide out. I got a whole bunch of them, different ones for different locks. Let me see here. I gotta get another one of these dividers. You know, you got quick sets, Lockwood, National Rockford, National Locks pretty much. Ross Wynn, Sargent. Eagle. This covers most of the basics. There's so many that it doesn't cover. And you can go out and buy that stuff. Yale, Universal, Old American, Junk Hunk, Eagle Dexter. It's got all the basics. I've had a couple times where I needed a card, like to get into a 4 or 10 cut or something. It's I don't usually keep those. Yeah, let me see here. But I don't do automotive. It's kind of not my thing. There's so many different variables and possibilities of what you could use. You see, I got locks for cabinets. I used to do a lot of them, cabinets. I'd get a contract or a job to go work in an office building, and so I'd wind up doing a bunch of them. I had a while back, they wanted locks in their cafeteria room on their drawers because they would always take their food in, and seemed like all the special extra stuff would disappear so fast, they just decided they're going to go ahead and start locking this stuff up. This here's a national average for I think 2019. That's the average prices. So whenever a customer wants to nickel and dime me about something, I would show them this. I'm either high or low. I mean, I usually charge $270 for a single cut. National average is $273. That's just for American single cut key, But that's actually kind of outdated. Most prices have gone up. I don't advertise hard. I should, but I don't. It's just kind of one of those things. This is a side hustle right now. I am bonded, insured. I'm legal. I have all my credentials. I'm in a state that doesn't require an actual state license, so I'm kind of fortunate about that. Let's look out here. Yeah, I'm off this weekend. My plan is to start cleaning up this van. I got to get my inverter set up. I have another inverter in my step van over there, and all this stuff. I have a big job box. Most of the stuff fit in that job box before I got this cargo van. It was mostly in a job box. I did have a couple of key machines I used to keep in the back seat, but I'm gonna put all this stuff in a job box. I may even buy a bigger job box just to make sure, something that's taller, because the one I have in my cargo van is a 2 foot by 2 foot by 4 foot, and I think I would rather have something that's 2 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot, something taller. But we'll see what I can get. Right now I'm just gonna wing it. I keep padlocks and stuff. I got a bunch of deadbolts in here. I usually, customers want to throw away their old stuff. It's empty. Then I offer to take it off their hand, and what I'll do is I'll have a little bag of stuff in here. These are all used knobs from different lock jobs I was on. Some of them are old antiques, but you never know. Sometimes you find something that it's actually still worth it. See that ridge? You see that little you got a handle set that goes bad. There's this piece right there. See the little notch right by where my thumb is, and that goes up and it hits that. And that's the number one problem with these handle sets, that big ridge right there. And this, it's kind of hard to do this with one hand, but yeah, you'll find it where you do that handle set and it doesn't pull the latch back. That's the number one problem. And that's the quick set right there. Actually, that's Schlag. I got one that's a quick set in this box right there. Anyways, I'm just kind of rambling. I had to make some keys for a boss at work. Yeah, where I work at the local plant. I'll occasionally make keys for the boss and they'll pay me extra. And it just it's kind of a nice thing to be able to do. I have a key machine at work, but my belt on it actually broke, this little rubber band. So I thought, well, I'll just bring it once in my cargo van. I don't use that key machine in my cargo van. I hardly ever use it, so I'll go on ahead and bring that belt in. But while I was out here, I went ahead and cut some keys. You code cut these on that code machine like I showed where you use the cards. I got another one that uses spacer blocks, but when you code cut those, it's accurate. It's exactly to the manufacturer's specifications. But when you put them on a duplicator, like the one I showed you where I put the keys in it, and you know, you use the one to trace, that's not as accurate. And you know, it's duplicating a key, and who knows how old that key is. It could be that that key has been duplicated 3 or 4 times, and sometimes it might take 3 or 4 duplications of a used key before it'll finally degrade to the point to where it doesn't read anymore, you know, where it won't fit the lock. And that's what I run into. I took pictures of a padlock key that he gave me to copy off last night, and I kept thinking, well, it's not lining up. I'm using calipers trying to measure them, and the keys weren't jiving with the dimensions it should be, these cuts. And so I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and use that number. I'll look it up on my software online, and sure enough, the cuts were different. It was just enough that it worked in the padlocks at work, but not enough to where I could duplicate it. So I went ahead and cut it by code, and that should make it so that it'll work exactly the way it's supposed to, not have any weird feel to it. You know, when you put the key in, you gotta turn it. And I use, you ever see these wrist things that you use? You know, you find them, you know, like breast cancer, you know, support troops. You'll find these. Actually, I think this one here is one's, I don't know what you call those creatures, but anyways, you might know those things. Anyways, I use those to cover that keyway. That works out pretty good. We had thieves come through here a while back, and they was breaking into everyone's vehicles and their cargo vans and stuff, and so I managed to, my van actually was in a shop when they hit our street. Amazingly, I couldn't believe it. And they missed the opportunity to get me. And so I finally, let me lock that door up. So what happened was they hit my neighbor who's a plumber and stole all his plumber stuff. And fortunately, my van was in the shop that night, so when I got it back the next day, I hurried through those puck locks on there because you know, it's terrible they steal anyone's tools, whatever they may be. But boy, you steal some locksmith stuff, that's a serious deal. Because I mean, that's a crime spree above the crime spree that's already happening. So anyways, I thought, well, you know, you gotta protect the public with this kind of stuff. That's why I don't show really any tools and techniques. I'll show you some of the more common stuff because you know, there's no worry. You gotta have a key machine to do what I'm doing right now, you know, with these cutting keys by code, and you gotta have the software and all that. So I don't feel like I have to worry so much about sharing it. I'm not gonna teach you how to pick locks. So I mean, you can look at that stuff online. Lock picking 101 is one of the sites I used to like going to. But you know, it's one of those things. It's a neat hobby, neat craft to get into, but I hardly ever pick a lock. And I used to when I worked in a plant, the Harley plant. I used to pick locks all the time, and you know, because people would lock their keys in their locker or whatever, and so I would go on ahead and you know, pick them. You know, otherwise we just cut the padlock with bolt cutters and not go out the shackle. Wasn't no big deal to do that either. But yeah, all my stuff in that cargo van, it's gonna have to go in here. I'm gonna wind up having to put some of that stuff in here. Some of the stuff will be in here. Some of the stuff will be in here. Which that's kind of full of stuff right now, but that's just because I haven't got everything set up yet. And my inverter is just sitting down here on that rubber mat. Can't really see it with the lightings. But here's an old antique key machine I have right there. It's kind of neat. But once I get my cargo van or the step van electric run to where I can just plug stuff in as I need to, this job box is on wheels, and it's strapped up to the wall. And what I'll do is, if I want to go a recreational trip, you know, kayaking, fishing, I'll roll this into the back of my pickup truck, and I got wire rope with the ends on it that will hold it down. I've run like that for years in my pickup truck, you know, with the job box. And so I'll probably just roll it out and do that, and then I'll use the step van for whatever I want to do for the weekend or the week or whatever. And if I got a lock job I need to do that's far away, I'll do that anyways. But locally in my town, I'll probably just keep it in here. You know, I'm gonna have to bump up the insurance because it'd be a business insurance, you know, to be able to do that. I don't want to do anything sketchy, you know, like that. Every other business has to pay that kind of stuff, and so I try to follow the rules whenever possible. Anyways, I don't really have much. I just I did a little drive. I might try to splice that video in. The problem is the audio sucks so bad because I don't know. I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. What I'll probably do is voice over some of the stuff, throw some music in there. It's just the drive to the grocery store is all it was. But anyways, thanks for watching.